Ladies and gentlemen, as father of the bride, it is my privilege to make the first speech. The second one in a year, which has taxed my brain somewhat.
Hey.
But I'd like to start by saying what a pleasure it is to welcome you all on this very special day to Meghan and Paul's wedding. I must admit that I'm the proudest dad in the world to have accompanied Meghan today, that you will all agree she has looked stunning.
Yeah.
Now, every father knows that one day his daughter will find a great man, fly the nest, get married, and he also wishes his daughter the best of luck in finding the right man, one that will make her happy beyond belief. And when this happens, all the father can do is observe and hope for the best of her. Today, this is my role. As a child, Meghan was outgoing, strong, loving and full of fun. From an early age, right through her adult life, she's always been a caring person, which shows through her work as a hairdresser and professional carer. She always wants to become better at what she does, and being that person she is makes me the proudest father I know. As I look at my daughter Meghan, I can't help but reflect on all the years I was lucky enough to watch her grow and become the beautiful woman she is today. She captured my heart on the day she was born, and become more and more in awe of her as the years pass. She's my little girl, no matter what her age. She always will be. When I was giving her away today, I cannot deny I felt the loss of all I was giving my daughter away to be married. When we reached the altar, I felt something else, and for a while, I don't know what it was, then it dawned on me that the feeling I was having was joy and happiness, seeing her happy than I've never seen her before. When I met her now husband, Paul, I instantly knew he was a very good man. But once I got to know Paul, I couldn't have chosen anybody more suitable, simply for the way he treats and makes my daughter feel about herself. I cannot thank him enough, so Paul, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would finally like to say a couple of thank yous firstly to my daughter Meghan and her husband Paul for making me the happiest, proudest father around today. Thank you. Secondly, to all of you joining us in our celebrations here today, you have all helped me on this very special day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to propose a toast to the happy couple. Please be upstanding and raise your glass to the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Curry.
With most things in life, I tend not to take things particularly seriously, so this one I'm going to try. Firstly, I'd like to thank Mick for his kind words, and of course his daughter's hand in marriage. It's lovely to see so many of our family and friends here, from far and wide, all over the country. We really, really, really appreciate you being here. It means a lot to us, I genuinely think that. First thing I'd like to say is obviously that there are two people here who can't be here. Obviously, Meghan and I have both lost our grandfathers in the course of a few years, so if you have a quiet thought, just have a thought quickly for Grandpa Len and my granddad, Reg, who can't be here obviously to see this day happen, but I'm sure they'd all love to be here. I'd like to say a massive thank you to both our families, both emotionally and financially. The fact that when Whitehall went under and we lost the wedding, we relied on both our families a lot for helping us what's happened today, for what you've seen so far and what you're hopefully going to see the rest of the day as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to thank Mick, Kim and Barry, especially, and of course Andrea, for welcoming me into their family easy, just straight away. It's been brilliant. I've known Meg 7 years, nearly 7 years. Yeah, nearly 7 years. And it was brilliant, and they've been fantastic to us. I'd like to thank my mum and my dad, who probably deserve the medal really for putting up with me for about nearly 30 years. And my nan and my granddad, obviously, who can't be here, for obviously assisting as much as they can in my life. But I'm also told that I should pass on the fact that my nan is nearly just 94 years old. We'd like to give a token of our appreciation to both the mothers, if we can. Grab the stand, please, Stu.
Drum roll.
Good These are both to you to say thank you very much for your support in everything that's happened up until now. Thank you very, very, very much. Apart from my wife, there's also 3 other ladies here today who I also like to say are absolutely stunning. The bridesmaids, Carly and Jodie, and of course the Kaylee, Mickey's sister. So I'd like to quickly ask you to all. Now, there's an unwritten rule of wedding etiquette that says that the groomsmen or the ushers shouldn't look as handsome as the groom. So I'd like to thank you, Leon, Tom and Stuart for doing it. A little extra thank you to Stuart, because of course without Stuart, Meghan and I would have never met. Now, it was strange, the fact that Meghan and I met was pure by chance, and I really mean this. It was a birthday party for Stuart at Walthamstow Dog Track. I won that night. I won. We just met by chance. Meghan was not even sure about going that evening, so it was just pure by chance that we bumped into each other. And then obviously from that day forward, something instantly sparked. So countless hours, days, weeks, and now years together, laughing, occasionally crying, and supporting one another as much as we could, both when we lived at our parents' house and then finally deciding to take the chance and moving in together, and then picking up a couple of cats on the way.
Tink and poo.
Yeah, it's Meghan's passion in life has always drawn me to her. Her tenaciousness and her ability to, whatever she puts herself to, is going to be done. Sometimes not always a good thing. Mostly good.
Should you be admitting that?
This girl has a keen eye for a bargain, so if any of you want something got cheap, she can find it whether in a charity shop or eBay. By the way, this is all eBay, this whole place. And that's why I'm so much. Among many qualities, she's gifted with animal saving. Saved quite a few animals. Yeah. She's a dab hand with a pair of scissors.
Hello, Tiger.
Watch yourself!
And ending caring for people, for her family, for her friends, and of course her caring in an actual work role where she cares for the elderly is non-stop, just never ends. It amazes me when she comes home and she still has love for the job that we can all admit after doing for so many years, nobody really can say that. I think not many people can say they really enjoy their job, and I know that Meghan enjoys her job more than a lot of us can, so thank you for that. I think all of those tributes put together, and of course the never-ending love for me.
Hope is a good thing.
Make me a very, very lucky man. Now, one good thing about weddings is that they just seem to organise themselves. With a help of a list or two, or three. I know that Meg's has put a massive amount of effort into all of this. Everything you see today, pretty much, has either been with Meg's and Andrew at the end of the phone, or her mum, Carly, or whoever she needed at the end of the phone. So I would like you all please to stand and raise your glass.
Hey.
My wife, Meghan Curran. All of our friends, we all go about our day-to-day life with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek attitude. Stuart is a great guy. But he lives in this parallel universe where he seems to think these stories up in his mind, exaggerate them beyond belief. So I thank you all for humouring him whatever he says. And I pass you over to one of my groomsmen and probably one of my very closest friends, Stuart.
What is it with these bits of paper, eh?
Hey!
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first say, the bridesmaids, you look absolutely stunning. Only rightly outshone by our bride, Meghan. Absolutely beautiful today. Thank you all for coming here today to this very special occasion. It's been a very emotional day. Even the cake is in tears.
Nasty!
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stuart. I will be propping up the bar later, and I drink ale.
Hooray!
It's been requested that the speech has been kept clean, so I will try to do my best. They say that the grooms... Sorry, they say that they say the best man's speech is the groom's worst 5 minutes of the day. Unfortunately, the bride's worst 5 minutes are to come later on this evening. apologise. You're going to have to forgive the prepubescent anxiety. I'm actually a little nervous doing this. But I do feel comforted by the fact that I have actually rehearsed this speech live. It was at the local old people's home. I think it went well. They all wet themselves. When Paul asked me, to be a speech bearer, it was like being asked. It was like being asked to sleep with the Queen. It was a great honour, but nobody really wants to do it. But I said yes, and I immediately started to think about my speech. So, like all men, I started on the internet to find some tips and hints. After several hours, I found some really good stuff. I then realised I really should start looking for some tips and not the triple X factor. So, Paul and Meg's, it's been 7 years. You finally got married, for better for worse, which is quite appropriate really, because Paul, you couldn't have done any better. And Meg's, you couldn't have done any worse. So let's start from the beginning. Well, Paul and I didn't exactly start our friendship off on the best of feet. In fact, we didn't particularly like each other. And basically what got our friendship started was being forced to sit next to each other in history. And the conversation started by talking about our history teacher's strange moustache. And from that point on, we've been friends ever since. Now, to be honest, I found it really difficult to come up for a speech to have a laugh and a joke at Paul's expense because, in all honesty, he hasn't really done anything wrong. So,
happy days.
In fact, if you could think of anyone who will always put everyone else before him and will always go out of his way to help them, then Paul is that man. Well, make me stand up here, mate. I'm never going to forgive you for this. As we all know, when Paul does something, he always puts his heart and mind into it. Like when we were snowboarding in Canada. For those of you who aren't aware, Paul is blind as a bat without glasses. So before Paul discovered contact lenses, he used to snowboard part blind. So if you can picture this, there we are, coasting down a narrow run. There's a sheer rock face on our left-hand side, a 20-degree slope and a 100-foot fall on our right, and the blur of a person flying off the edge of the cliff as Paul is cutting them up. Luckily for me, out of sheer panic, I managed to avoid my pending doom, and by the time I managed to climb back up onto the slopes and get down to the meeting point, the first thing that came out of Paul's mouth was, "Core, you took your time, where have you been?" For obvious reasons, I'm not going to disclose the amount of obscenities that were ejected out of my mouth at that point in time, but I'm sure you can all get the gist of it. Another point in Paul's life that stands out to me was he was working on the check-in desks. Now, bear in mind, surrounded by women and their poor judgment in motor vehicles, we were all talking to him about what his next car was. And no word of a lie, his response was exactly this. "Well, I'm thinking of a Ford Ka." because they're nippy, easy to park. Paul, I'm so glad you brought that Honda Civic. I mean, there are many more stories, most of which I can't disclose at an event like this.
Have we got that much time?
Yeah. But admittedly, we've all done some silly things. For instance, when you're in a foreign country doing some food shopping, and you're sent to get some butter,
Spreadable cheese!
by the time you get back to your apartment and realise that you've actually picked up a large pot of spreadable cheese.
Hey!
Not the fact that the big picture of the cheese on the lid kind of gave it away. Another, which many of us will remember, would be running through Henham, along the main roads, arms outstretched with our phones blaring, to the flight of the Valkyrie.
Just spreadable cheese.
And one of the best of all is when your wife bursts in the room, disclosing information to your messmate that should never be shared. Both of you know what I'm talking about.
What? Again, you sit there going,
No. I think the best one is that I have only recently found out that Paul is really into his household cleaning products.
Marigold boy!
When I say like, I'm referring to the fact he actually gets excited when he's walking through the supermarket and he sees a new version of toilet duck on the shelves. So I'm going to put this image in your head, and you can all agree or not. Imagine Paul walking around his flat in an apron.
Wrong.
Marigolds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
oh, bring it on.
Marigolds and a toilet brush in hand. Now, to me, it kind of reminds me of the old Mr. Muscle adverts. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So, Megs, I need you to answer a question for me. Does Paul like doing the jobs you have? And now I'd like to say to Paul, look at how lucky you are.
Hey.
You leave here today gaining a partner that's warm, loving, caring, funny, and who irradiates kindness wherever she goes. And Megs, look at how lucky you are. You leave here today with a beautiful dress. Some lucky flowers. And Paul, one last thing. Right, I've got two secrets for you for a happy marriage. The first one is, whenever you're wrong, admit it.